All right. Are y'all ready? Wayne, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm just calling you out because you called me out earlier. I just want to know that you're there, man. All right, good. All right. Wow. What a weekend. Thank you, Martin. So it's great to be here today, and just over the weekend, I was just watching and learning about how the company has evolved and changed, and new products and new ways of looking at the business, and yet there was this kind of this sameness, right? That said, hey, we're doing travel, we want to do it, we want to change it, we want to keep growing it. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about tonight, is just, the things that Dan said about new ways of doing business and travel, what, Eddie talked about in terms of how the product works, what Wayne talked about in terms of, let's not just bump this thing up a little bit, right? Let's bump it up a lot, right? You guys there? All right, good. So when we talk about travel, I'm so excited because in my career, so some of you don't know me, I've been around the WorldVentures and Rovia for about 3.5 years, and my background is travel. I've been in the travel business for about 30 years. That's just like older than most of you, or a lot of you anyway. And so for me, as I worked in the travel business, companies would hire me to move their products far, right? And so when Wayne and Dan and Eddie called and they said, hey, we have this travel thing, you put a strategy together, our people, you like our people, you like being with our people, I was like, okay, great, let's go do this. And I said, but I'm not going to do it a little bit, right? It's not like I want to do a little bit of travel. And I'm going to talk about that as I go forward. So with that, let's see, what slide I don't know if I have a slide yet. I guess I should press the button and get a slide up here. Okay, great. Who wants to buy a cruise ship? Anybody? What's great about going last is you can kind of throw some slides in here, right? That like you're paying attention or something, like I'm paying attention. So Sea Dream is great. I actually took my first Sea Dream cruise about a long time ago, probably about, 8 or 9 years ago. And it is one of the favorites. I mean, I love this. Look at this thing going through this little canal here, right? I mean, isn't that like crazy? Anybody want to do that? I want to do that, right? Got the picture of the pool in there for Wayne because he mentioned the pool. The pool's awesome. On this cruise ship also, you can sleep outside over, at night. They have these Balinese beds. You could sleep outside, and and that's like the most awesome. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy, right? So we're going to do a lot more of these kinds of travel. The people who run at Rovia, we have different groups at Rovia, right? That build all of the Dream Trips for the Dream Trips membership, and we have this little slice of people here who do cruises. And so someone will call and say, hey, I want to do 20 rooms or 30 rooms. Let me give you an example of what we're doing just with cruises. So 3 years ago, we did about maybe a couple of $1 million of cruises. The Royal Caribbean, we did about $800,000. Royal Caribbean is one of the largest single cruise lines in the world. Last year, we did 1.7 million. This year, we're doing 8 million, right? Because people are cruising. Cruising is great. I mean, I love it. My wife and I take cruises. I tell people all the time, it's like, you go to bed and you wake up for me, I wake up with a different woman every morning because my wife, you're on a different port, different clothes, different experience, I'm not saying I want to do like a different wife I'm just saying that. Anyway, next slide. All right, so speaking of that, let's go to loyalty, right? So, loyalty. It's all about loyalty. Okay, so loyalty. Let's talk about loyalty. One of the things Dan talked about yesterday was, how do we become more known in the travel industry? For me, right? I mean, a big part of my job is going out and making sure that we're buying the right products for the right trips, for the right people, for the right amount of time, the right amount of money, for the right demographic, in the right place, in the right time of the year. And there's a whole list of things that we go through. And one of the things that companies like hotel companies, and Dan talked about it yesterday a little bit, is that they look for, they spend millions of dollars in marketing, right? Trying to get people, they're trying to get one couple to come to their hotel. And they'll spend hundreds of dollars in what they call acquisition cost of getting someone to come to their hotel. What do? We show up and we say, hey, I need 50 rooms, I need 100 rooms, I need 1,000 rooms. Not just once, not twice. Dave Baird, he did great at the Maribel. We do 40 weeks a year at the Maribel, right? How many of you have been to the Maribel? Right, a lot of you. Look at that. So we want to do like 100 more of those around the world. And so the idea is by doing more of that, what happens? The hotel knows us, they like us, they make sure that we're taken care of. And we get, we get better experiences there. And so we're going to start doing a lot more of that, right? So we have that happening with the hotel companies. You'll start seeing better experiences. I kind of have a slide where I'll talk about that. But the reason I have loyalty up here is as we're loyal to our suppliers, right? They're loyal in turn to us, and they provide us all of these richer kinds of benefits and pricing. And we help them during what they call their off season, right? Their low season. And then they help us during our peak season, right? When people want to travel to Mexico or the Caribbean in the summertime, they help us by offering us great rates during those periods. So loyalty is important, right? So loyalty goes a lot of ways. Loyalty is about how not just how Rovia and WorldVentures treats them, how you treat them, right? And when you're at these properties, I'm not going to do the Mark thing about telling you how to travel. He does a great job about that. But the idea is as we're loyal to them, they in turn treat us back even better each time we stay there. So loyalty is important. Loyalty is, to me, probably the thing that is kind of the secret sauce for us in travel. As we work with suppliers, we demonstrate we're loyal, and again, we keep building our business with them. It was important for me to say that because you'll start seeing changes in how Rovia works and how Dream Trips work, and loyalty is good. So let's talk about loyalty. So speaking of loyalty, there's a marriage retreat at the beginning of December, right? So if you want to go or you're free and you want to do something that will help your relationship, after that first part of A Different Wife every morning, I might sign up. And just kidding. But get a hold of Troy and Byron and make that happen. So, okay, loyalty, back to loyalty again. So everything's about loyalty for me tonight. And loyalty is just a thing that we look at and we embrace it and we create new kinds of experiences, all right? So the reason I have this, the thing about loyalty, so suppliers, hotels, they look at loyalty programs, and the average household has 26 or 27 loyalty cards, that programs that people belong to. They spend a lot of money on it. And the thing that we provide them that no one else does is you. So look around at each other. You are the new loyalty, okay? So that's a big part, that's something we're going to start changing as we go visit these places. You are the new loyalty, and we'll remember that. So when we talk about new loyalty, where's Lucas? Is Lucas in here tonight? Shout, there he is over here. Everyone look at Lucas. Lucas is on day number 16 of his trip around the world to visit 7 wonders. It's kind of like 8 or 9 on here. But here's Lucas, right? Lucas bought, hang on, I got to look at my notes here, sorry. No, Mark's going to kill me. All right. This trip, Lucas bought for $4,408.97 on dreamtrips.com. $4,400. The closest alternative was $5,800. Okay, so a trip around the world for $4,400, fully $1,400 less than anywhere else. So that's my little education part of tonight. All right, it's all about travel. All right, Sean King, where's Sean? Sean's over here somewhere, I think. Sean? Shout it out, over where? Over here somewhere. All right, I believe, oh, there, I see some hands over there. There you go, okay, great. Sean, you're tonight's second winner. 29 trips in 18 months, right? Travel, dream trips, 29 dream trips in 18 months, all right? Tammy, where's Tammy? She's over here somewhere. There she is over there, Tammy Sheffield, thank you. 107 countries. I've only been to 103, so I've got a few more to catch up to Tammy. So Tammy, you're on, all right? Thank you, Tammy. Okay, this is about travel, right? About community, about doing things together. And so I wanted to shout out to these people. Why? Loyalty, right? It's about what we're doing. So again, you are the new loyalty. Educate, exceed expectations, execute. So probably in June or July at boot camp, Mark asked me to come and do a little training thing, and not a training thing, but talk about how I talk about travel. And for me, one of the things that Rovia and we'll start doing is part of the Dream Trips experience is education. So I came into work probably maybe a month ago, and I had Condé Nast Traveler, Travel and Leisure, National Geographic Traveler, magazine from a couple of hotels, and I put them on a table and I said, hey, I need you guys to look through all of the dream trips we have and tell me how many of the dream trips we have are the same places that are in these magazines, right? And it was somewhere around 20. And so I said, great. So one of the things that I want to start doing is building this little bit of education into our dream trip. So when you look at a dream trip on the site, you might say, hey, this is like featured in last week's New York Times or last month's National Geographic Traveler. Why? Builds credibility in what we do. Plus, if you look in those magazines, you'll generally find the same trip for more money, right? So it's all about education. It's all about making everybody aware. Exceeding expectations means, when we talk about the dream trips, we want to say, here it is, and I'm going to work toward exceeding the expectations of what those are. And then it's about executing. So it's about doing the things that Dan and Eddie and Wayne talk about executing and building better products. All right, and I'll talk about that. By the way, so I'm going to talk about value in just a second, but before I get here, so that you guys can kind of take a picture and try to figure out what that means. But last year, in the last 10 months, so from January until now, from last year to this year, we've had over a 100% growth in the number of people who've taken a dream trip. Did y'all know that? Right? Over 100%. 100% growth. It was 194,000 last year. This year it's almost 500,000. So Wayne, when you talk about 1 million travelers, we're halfway there, buddy. All right? We'll get us the other half. And last month, from our Dream Trip surveys, we had our highest month on record in terms of just the quality of the trips. Look, I get that there's problems on some trips, but overall, when we talk about doing 500 trips, almost 6,000 trips. The math is every hour and a half, a new dream trip starts. Did you guys know that? Every hour and a half, a new dream trip starts. I mean, think about that. Every hour and a half, a new dream trip starts. Look, I've been in the travel business a long time, and the travel industry doesn't even fathom that kind of stuff, right? So that's a big new aha revelation that will kind of kick into the travel industry. All right, I want to talk about value for a few minutes here. Value equals quality divided by price. That's the mathematics around value. It's very simple. When you talk about value, value is quality divided by price. How many of you drink Starbucks? Let's see. All right, a lot of you do. All right, now, why in the world would you pay twice as much money for a cup of Starbucks when Consumer Reports rates McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts coffee better? Why would you pay for Starbucks? Right? The reason is the quality of the brand. That's why you'd rather walk into a building carrying a cup of Starbucks than a cup of McDonald's coffee. That's the reason. All right? So when we talk about value, this is going to be a new kind of a theme here. And when we talk about value, when we talk about Dream Trips and what the membership offers, we're going to talk about value. We're going to talk about value equals quality divided by price. All right? So you're willing to pay more price, but the quality has to be even greater. All right? So that's what my charge is at Rovia for the people who build Dream Trips is, look, price is a little higher. We include a lot of things, transfers and hosts and all that kind of stuff, but your experience has to be even greater, okay? So if you all will give me just a little bit of time to make that start changing, my commitment to you is to build an increasingly valuable proposition for you and for your prospects and your downlines and everyone in your network. All right? So value, I want to think about value, okay? I want us to, I get the emails on an almost daily basis, Jim, people want to shop price, right? People want to shop price. And the response that, I don't get in the debate. Some people say, well, book it on Expedia then, or do whatever you got to do. For me, I want to focus on quality. That's what I really want to focus on, is building something that is a higher quality product. All right, so that means something like, something that is unique, something that's different, something you can't buy anywhere else. It means new destinations, new experiences, and new Dream Trips. All right, so these are the kind of things you're going to start seeing on the Dream Trip site. You'll start seeing a better education process. The other thing that's important for me is this thing called integration, right? So for me, it's about getting the field more involved in what we do, not less. So for me, field is super important, and we want to make that happen. So as an example, we're kicking off a new property. Is Alejandro here from the Azul? I don't know if he is. If he's here, great. If he's not, we'll find him later. There he is over here. See this guy here? He builds more resorts in the Cancun area than anybody. So, all right, thank you. So, right, partnerships and getting people together. This is an example. We found a group of people. We're going to take them there. They're going to experience, and we're going to do more and more of these. Okay? So that's important to make sure that everybody, that everybody is aware of what we're trying to do in the field and getting more and more of you involved in what we're doing with travel. Okay? Okay, what's next here? Okay, Wayne. I love you, man. I'm happy to be here, Wayne. And, this is something I have in my office. Wayne said this. He said something like this a few times. And I think he said this at boot camp. Could have been United, could have been Momentum, right? I don't want to compete with the travel industry. I don't want to compete with the travel industry either, right? Because we have something that the travel industry doesn't have. And this is magic, folks. This is something that when you go on a Dream Trip and you experience that and everyone looks and goes like, wow, what is that group of people all about, right? The banners, the community, that's the thing that nobody else has. I don't want to compete with the travel industry, right? Do you guys want to compete down with the travel industry? I don't. Right? I've done this so many times. I don't want to compete down with the travel industry. I, with Wayne, want to change the travel industry. Okay? And the best part about it is we can. Right? I'm not saying it's a dream or a vision. We can. Okay? So let's go do that. So thank you for being the new loyalty. You're my new loyalty, and I'm yours. And I want to say thank you for everything that you do to make this thing work. Thank you.